Hi, welcome to PHP tutorial. This is a list of suggestions how you should use this video. The notes for this video can be found here, which is loaded here. And all the code that we use in this video can be found here as well with some small variations. So this video is a continuation from the last video. I'm not going to start everything from scratch, so you probably should go back to the last video if you jump to this place. If you jump straight into this place, probably you should refer to the last video. Okay, so this is where we stopped. We finished the first file. We created all the text boxes and all that. We use the post method. We calculate. We send something here. So let me make this guy small. Okay, so you can see that now you are in the second file. So this was the first file. This is the second file. Okay. All right. First file. Calculate. Second file. What you're going to do is you are going to allow user to key in something. And then, okay, not to confuse you, I'm going to close the example. Okay. All right, so we're going to allow user to key in something, and then in the second file, we're going to display it so that we can capture the value, capture what the user have keyed in. So we say, hey, user want to borrow $1,000 at a yearly interest rate of 20% for 30 years. Okay, with just keep the debt going. They pay the minimum just to keep the debt going. They don't want to pay back the borrow amount or anything. So if they click on that, I want to show the value here. Once I can get a value here, I can do calculation and all the good stuff. Okay. All right. So to do that, we have to go to the process file and put in PHP code on top. You want to put in PHP code before anything happens. Okay, before the doc type, so that you can capture the value and use the value anywhere in the file before anything happens. So you say, I want to get the data from the form. In the form, the first file, okay, I'm going to switch between the two files here, so you can see the switch, okay, by looking at the tab. So in the first file, I use a post method. Okay, there are two ways of sending things, two methods to send things over to another place. One is to use the get method, and one is the post method. For the get method, you are sending things over using a query string. Okay, so what is a query string? If you go to Amazon.com and say you want to buy PHP and MySQL book, you realize that they have something like this on top. This is a query string. So if you use get method, you use query string. Query string is at the end of your URL, so you'll be like value key is k equal to value is PHP, blah blah blah, and key is ref and value is that. So you pass values through the URL. Okay, it has its pros and cons. Obviously, you pass things like this, it's pretty easy to write, right, to append to the URL. The con obviously is people can also do something to you, and you know, that kind of thing. And also, if you use get method, the query string has a limit of the length of the query string, so you cannot send too much information across. But if you use post method, you don't have that restriction. Okay, but sometimes you can see weird errors when you try to reload a page. Okay, so this is the post method. To get a post method, we say, I want to get things in this text box, the investment. Okay, let me make this smaller. I want to get the value from the investment text box and save into a PHP variable. So here I'm going to create a PHP variable first. I'm going to call the variable investment. Note that I have a dollar sign here, so it's a PHP variable. Whereas this one, I have no dollar sign, so this is a HTML name, okay? And I say that I want to use filter input. Don't use a post or get don't use post or get arrays. Those are outdated. There are some security issues. So I say I want to use filter input method, and it's a post method. The name of the variable being passed over is called investment. Make sure you can spell it correctly. And then I must ask user to pass a float. So there's a reserved word called filter validate float. So I want to test if it's working. So I say I want to echo it. Okay. Calculate. Yay, it's working. It's 1,000. Okay. So I key in 1,000. I calculate. I get a value here and echo it. So I can do the same thing for interest rate. Interest rate is also float. Okay. And number of years is integer. You do not want a half a year thing. So let's copy this. All right. Since you have this working, this is correct. So Control C to copy, Control V to paste. I'm going to create another variable to calculate interest rate. I'm just going to call this variable interest rate. That is the PHP variable to store the value, and then I have the interest rate here, which is the name of the text box. And I want to see if it's working, so I copy my interest rate here to test it. Calculate. I should get 20. Yeah, I get my 20. So interest rate is output, you know it's working. And then the third thing you want to get is number of years. Control C, Control V. This is years. So the name for the text box is years, and the variable name is years. And oops, don't forget your dollar sign. And then I copy this one here. Years. So submit. So you see 30 years. Okay. So you get a value on the second file. But of course, that is not the place you want to put the values. The value shouldn't be here, right? You want to put the value at the bottom here. So let's comment out this first, since these are only for testing. Okay, so you want to put this stuff below here. All right, so the first thing you want is the borrow amount is what? So you want to do a label. Borrow amount. And the borrow amount is your investment. Okay? So you want to say that, label is for you to do alignment, and you want to put your investment here. To put an investment here, you have to wrap it around a tag so that it can be aligned. So let's use a span tag, and let's say you want to output your PHP. So you have all the HTML here, and then you have your PHP code here. Control S to save. Now you calculate. You have your borrow amount here. But that is not very professional looking, right? You should at least put like 2 decimal places with a dollar sign. So to do that, instead of putting an investment here, I'm going to format it. So I say that my investment, I'm going to call it investment F is equal to a $, join with the 2 decimal places format. And then obviously you shouldn't output investment here, but you have to output investment F. Okay, so now when you submit, you get more professional looking $1,000. Okay, so you get a value, input the value in the first file, submit, you capture it, output it, format it into the second file. All right, so let's do the interest rate. Interest rate, I'm going to copy this. No, I'm going to format it first, okay? I'm going to say my interest rate is going to be called interest F. Oh, let's call it yearly rate. Okay, let's call it yearly rate. With a percentage sign behind. So here I'm going to say, I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to copy this and change it to yearly interest rate and change this to yearly rate F. So now you go back and click on and calculate, you'll get your 20% here. But be careful, don't reload here. If you reload, they are going to give you a really weird error. Okay, that is the problem when you try to reload and you're using a post method. The second file will be like, where is the thing that you sent over? I cannot find it. Ask you to resend. So post method give you the kind of weird errors. So you have to go back, resend, so you get your 20%, okay? So the last thing you want to capture is the years. And there's no formatting needed for the years, so that is easy. So we just copy this. And you say that your years number of years will be years. Oops, I forgot something. I forgot to put semicolon. It doesn't really matter, okay? For what I'm doing right now, it doesn't really matter, but if you want to put other statement in this PHP, you will get errors. So that's not good. So don't forget the semicolon, okay? Calculate, you get that number of years, okay? So the next step is we are going to start calculating stuff, okay? We want to start calculation and all the good stuff, but before I move on, probably I should validate both files before I move on, just in case I generate more error. So let's go back to the first file, the input, view source, copy everything, Control C to copy, come over here, go to the W3C markup validator, go to validate by direct input, Control V, check. No error, no warning. Very good. First file passed. Second file. Click calculate, send to the second file. View page source. Select everything. Control C. Come over here. Replace the old code in validate by direct input. Control V to paste, check. you should see no error warning. So you passed the checking, so that's fantastic. Okay, you wanted to pass the checking, all right? So the next step is to actually calculate how much you owe the bank every year, okay? So you need to do a little bit of math. So that's a good place to stop. So in the next file, in the next video, we are going to talk about the math and maybe do some calculation there, okay? And I'm not going to close everything. I'm just going to carry on from this video onwards. All right. Thanks for watching. That's a good place to stop. See you soon. Bye.